This is the Don't Hide the Scars podcast, presented by Pain, Parents and Addicts in Need. Thank you for listening to Pain's Don't Hide the Scars podcast. I'm Jason LaChance, here with the founder of Pain, Mr. Flindt Andersen. How are we, good sir?
I'm doing fantastic. Jason, what's new with you?
Well, we're both in collared shirts that are a shade of green, so that's new, at least for our friendship, huh?
We've been in t-shirts the last few episodes.
I know. We had to switch it up here, get a little more professional.
Absolutely.
And I graduated like you with the
With the
glasses.
glasses, I know. I did notice that. Yes, I did.
This getting older stuff is a pain in the backside, I'll tell you.
You bet. Yeah,
Um,
I had a test the other day I had to do, and so they do tests of my heart because I've had heart issues. They said, no, your heart's fine. Okay. And I go, but and she is fantastic. She's a great cardiologist. And she goes, you got a little issue here. And I go, what's that? She said, well, your carotid artery. And I go, oh man, really? She goes, well, there's like two sets of arteries in there. You've got an inside artery and you've got an outside artery. The inside artery is fine, but the outside artery, it's a little questionable. And she's saying it like this. It's a little questionable. We want to do a CAT scan. I said, great. I said, is surgery required? She goes, I don't know yet. I don't think so, but we're going to look at the. My point here is we, as we get older, we never think about checking our carotid artery.
mm,
I mean, think about it.
mm,
That's a main artery. It goes to one's brain, by the way.
yeah.
Okay. I mean, I think that's wise for people to get, especially as you get older. Start checking on that one a little bit. She said it was a little bit clogged, so they got to go in there, probably medication wise, get it fixed. But
All right. Well,
just something else this old guy's got to figure out how to take care of. Shit.
Hey, I'm there, man. I am a regular on those checkups now. All the stuff that inactive addiction would not have done, would not have cared. And even, for those that maybe noticed that are watching, got braces again, getting my teeth fixed in the line because they're like, well, we can either, put fake ones in. So in like 7 years or so when they fall out, and then that can cost you about 4 times as much as the braces do.
Been there.
All right, let's get the braces in here. Get these things straightened out. Yeah. So,
Right.
speaking of straightened out, it was interesting to watch the Charlie Sheen documentary series on Netflix. So we're going to do a little review on that. As people that have listened to Don't Hide the Scars over the years, former podcast I used to do, interviewed Charlie personally in person a couple of times. So for me, it was more interesting watching it, learning some things about his family history and things like that. But most of the stuff that was in there, I had actually had a conversation with him about, and actually had interviewed Denise Richards as well. But none of his other spouses or kids didn't have any interaction with that. So it was really interesting, and I think really eye opening. The thing that stood out to me the most was in the second part where he was questioning around the worst drug, and he goes, alcohol for sure.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, coming from this guy, and I'm someone that dabbled a little bit and tried stuff. That was like really kind of mind blowing to me until I put it in perspective of the social acceptance, the how much it just trickles out into other aspects of life when we see criminal activity, especially violence, social violence, domestic abuse, all these things, and where it plays into, the ignoring of children, so on and so forth, which of course other chemical addictions and other addictions in general, that happens too. But yeah, that was really eye-opening to me to hear that from him. I mean, we're talking a guy that was freebasing cocaine like it was going out of style.
Hey, when I'm watching that thing, my first thing was, wow, I thought I was the king, and survived, which I did, survive the massive amounts, that I put in my body. But this man made Richard Pryor look like a kindergartner. I mean, my gosh, this guy, it's again, I will just say it in these terms. There is a reason why he is alive. I don't know what that reason is yet, but there is a reason why he is alive, because he shouldn't be, not one bit.
Yeah, no, not with that lifestyle that went with it at all. And to be that, when I had spoken with him, incredibly switched on, very eloquent, intelligent speaker, all the things that you would kind of picture. So it's to be able to have all those faculties about him as well. Whereas,
Yeah.
you and I have met, and most of the time, and I'm not a judgment of people, but most of the time when we've seen the greater cognitive challenges that don't come back, we've seen it mostly around methamphetamine. Am I kind of correct in that?
You are absolutely correct in that. Yes.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, because again, I've seen everything that one sees about a meth user on TikTok or the news or whatever the case may be. That's factual.
mm,
That is factual. That is not some actor doing his or her job. Okay. It's extremely difficult for somebody to come back from the long-term meth use, because methamphetamine as a whole, I've seen CAT scans of people's brains that actually show parts of the brain eaten away
mm,
because of their meth use, because of what chemicals you are putting in your body. And so when your brain gets eaten away, that doesn't grow back.
yeah.
That simply does not grow back. So you're going to lose certain parts of your thinking um, the longer you use. And so you could see Charlie over the years. You could see, look, you could see at one point, first of all, he was just a hell raising little kid. Okay. And by the way, who wasn't, right? I mean,
Sure.
I mean, most of us were, right? And again, he got away with a lot of stuff.
Hmm.
I believe as a kid, and so he kind of had that freedom anyway to do whatever the hell he wanted. It's the whole Hollywood scene and blah blah blah, and everybody's smoking pot and who cares, gives a shit. And so but you could really see the transformation in him and the different drugs he was using.
Yeah.
It was interesting to watch because the transformation, oh, that's meth. Oh, that's opiates. Oh, that's alcohol. Oh, that's pot, you know, and you're going, okay, well, when he sits there and says, well, man, I could sit there and I could do, I can't remember what he said, but 7 balls of cocaine, okay, in one sitting, it's like, wow, he did it with everything. Didn't matter if it was alcohol, pot,
Yeah.
opiates, benzos, coke, whatever, freebasing. He you talk about his mantra being the word more.
Mm.
Okay, that's what it was, man. He's lucky.
New Perceptions North, the premier drug and alcohol treatment and recovery center in Central California. A full continuum of medically supervised, top quality care with programs for detox and patient residential treatment with dual diagnosis, intensive outpatient treatment, sober living support groups, and more. New Perceptions North provides adult men and women with the highest caliber of professional health care, treating each client with compassion and respect in a safe, comfortable environment to begin the process of recovery to proudly create and sustain a life without addiction. Call 559-978-1507 or visit newperceptionsnorth.com. Well, and I think the interesting thing, and I wasn't able to get into him with it too much, for the sake of time when I had spoken with him, was when he was talking about being in the Philippines and on set for what do
Yeah,
not into the heart of darkness, apocalypse now. Thank you. And
as a
what an
kid,
in yeah,
as a kid with his dad. Yeah,
yeah, little kid on this movie set. There's the war things going on that he's seeing. He's there on the set. All this, it is about that idea of going inside oneself, losing one's mind, and then his dad did and almost died. I would think, that's one area that I wish I had had more time to really unpack. That's traumatic for a
it
kid,
is.
and seeing all that stuff. And we don't know how to process that stuff because you can hear, and I know when I spoke to him, the love that he has for his father is really deep. So I could only imagine, and it's one of those interesting things about how trauma can happen. Um, excuse me. We see it in all kinds of forms, especially around sexual trauma. People tend to go one way or the other. They go hypersexual or completely like away from it altogether. So it's interesting how that was like, whoa, my dad this. Sometimes I wonder about that with my dad. with the substances. Alcohol wasn't his primary thing, but with me around alcohol, like once I came out of the fog and it took about a year of sobriety under my belt, I started to understand my dad really
Yeah,
well,
you bet.
like really well. And I think that's the interesting aspect and something to always be aware of when it comes to families, that there is a lineage of addiction. That you got to be keen to it. Like I've already told my kids that, hey, if you ever choose and you have a drink and then a second one and you would kill someone for the third one, that's not just the time to call Uber to get home, but call dad too, because we might have something we need to address pretty early on here.
No kidding. No kidding. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I didn't that good work on your part, because I didn't really think about that too much, when I was watching the show. But look, the movies and even sets, it's so real, and these actors really do get into their scenes, especially the Martin Sheens of the world, and it, and that movie. I mean, I remember seeing it when it first came out, and it's like, wow, my era, dark, as dark could get,
Hmm.
and now you've got a whatever he was, 8 or 9, 10 years old, sitting on that stage, or sitting on that set. Can you imagine what that kid was feeling? Even if he were to see somebody get shot, as an act.
Yeah.
I mean, wow. I'm sorry. Little kids are little kids for a reason.
Yeah.
And there's certain things they don't need to be, and they don't need to hear, they don't need to see at such an early age.
Yeah.
So I always go back to when I was working in a paramedic unit and working for the ambulance company. And years later I'd go, Jesus, no wonder I did drugs. you
Sure.
know I mean, the things I saw, the things I experienced, not only seeing what I saw, how the human condition can just, and the human body can just be torn apart from limb to limb. I also was shot at, by gangs in the middle of a gang war, but we had to be there as the medical help. No wonder I did all that stuff. I mean, everybody's got something, in there, but a lot of times we don't think about what the repercussions are. you know
Yeah. I don't even know that, especially when we're little, we don't have that ability to even process it. And I know when you worked in the medical field, and we've known so many amazing first responders and law enforcement, and it's like, you're in that, and military soldiers, veterans, that you're in that heightened state, that you you don't really get to step away from it, look at it, process it, understand it.
right.
It's not a normal way of life to constantly go through that and be bombarded with that. So yeah, I found it really interesting. And like you said, as much as he stated that him and his brothers and sister grew up, pretty normal family, I found it interesting too, where he said, yeah, for a while there, my dad and mom may not like it. They were even practicing nudists. It's like, okay, that's a little a little bit
I
unusual.
didn't
Like,
hear that one, but yeah, yeah.
yeah,
But no,
that hey, my dad was a guy that he would just walk around naked. I'm going to tell you, it didn't do me any good in my childhood. Okay, so yeah, don't do that stuff. It's not beneficial. It was
right,
a little
right,
bit
right.
scarring.
Well, again,
Uh,
that's that '60s parent. I
oh
mean,
yeah,
come on, man. I mean, all that nonsense.
oh yeah.
Uh,
My grandparents were characters. That's all I say. So my dad made sense. I'll put it at that.
Absolutely.
But yeah, like you said, and I believe he was talking about being between 10 and 12, first time he smoked pot. So pretty early age to alter your state too. And why is that curiosity? And yeah, he was a pretty rambunctious kid, and, didn't even really have any direction or plan as well.
No,
So
well, he
it's
didn't. He did, but he didn't need to. You
no,
know, I mean, right? I mean, when you've got free flowing parents, so to speak. Okay, plan. I got your plan. Okay, I'm sitting on it.
yeah,
It's yeah, it's just that way. So he no, he didn't have a plan, but but again, I do believe he kind of has that personality like I've got, just that curiosity button that's on all the time. You know, again, it's the old adage when mom said, "Don't touch that; it's hot." Okay, well, damn it, I don't believe you, so I'm going to touch it to see if it's hot. I mean, that's how I was. That's how Sheen was. I'm sure that's how most people can be. You know,
Yeah. I think for me, it was okay. I want to listen to mom. I won't do that. But then once I got something in me, is like, oh, I don't actually have to listen to that. Cool. All right. And
right?
that's what a lot of it was. It was,
Rebellion.
yeah. Against what? In retrospect, I have no idea. I guess of self. Really, it was like I didn't know how to get out of my own damn way. And that's definitely this documentary does outlay that, right? And quite a bit. And the issues that come up around family. I mean, I remember him talking about his first intervention and doing good. And then when I spoke to him, he did share that story around where he's at Nicolas Cage's house, woke up the next morning, years sober, was like Foster beer in the fridge, which look, if you're gonna pick a beer to relapse on, I don't know. It should have been Foster's. I should have busted his chops on that one, but that's what he
Sure.
grabbed, and there he is. You're off to the races again, and that's a sign of how quickly, when you have these neural pathways built into your reward system, and how you can get this rush of the dopamine and oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins, all this stuff coming in, that it can quickly revert to that, and that's
Oh
why
yeah.
it's so important to a lot of people that I've spoken to or we've helped and I've had conversations with, like, yeah, I just wanted to get that to where I don't even think about it. And I go, no, 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 no. You do. You just don't want to think about it where it's a focus. You want it in the peripheral, like it comes walking next towards you. You're like, nope, you stay right the heck over there. Don't come near me. So it's like you kind of always want to keep an eye on that enemy, so to speak.
Right. 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 Yeah. It's again, it's the way the human brain thinks and how we react, to things. Everybody's different, but on one hand, it's just how much where we are alike. You know, I mean, there's nothing that's special about Charlie or me, actually. That we did all this stuff. There really isn't. Um, I think anybody's capable of that.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I really do. Do I know what holds somebody back? I mean, I've got an idea, but I don't really know. You know, I just always think that there is. This may sound stupid and sappy, but I always think there's always a reason. You
Hmm.
know, why this stuff happens to us. I just do. So again, call me stupid, call me whatever, I don't care, but I do believe that there's a reason for it. And it's interesting. Last night I was doing my parent meeting, and had some folks on that hadn't been for a while, and it was just nice to see them, and it was nice to hear from them. It was nice to hear how their loved one was doing. And when I look at things, it's like, okay, that's why.
Mm.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's why I went through. Okay. Again, people call me an idiot, but that's the reason.
Yeah.
So I'm good with that. You
Yeah.
know, I'm good with it.
What did you think about the fact that he did address the Matthew Perry matters? He literally had stated, and I'm paraphrasing off of what I recollect, where Charlie had said in the documentary that he could tell he wasn't totally clean.
Right. Right. Well, again, um, look, there are a lot of us in recovery that, I'm sorry, we can't be BS'd. And you were around, and I think I said the same thing. There's no way he's clean. And here's why. Because when you know what the symptoms are, when you know he didn't look good. He didn't. His skin was still ashen. He was still bloated. His eyes were odd. He wasn't speaking correctly. It was kind of lethargic. So immediately I'm going, man, I'm sorry. This dude ain't clean. And sure turns out that he's on this else. He was doing this. It's like, dude, again, I don't care. I just want people to be honest,
Yeah.
because that's just what it's about.
Yeah, and we can't help anyone until we, without that honesty, transparency, and integrity, can't help anyone until
Yeah.
they want to get to that point
Yeah.
at all. So, yeah, I actually thought it was really great that it was addressed in the way, and I didn't think that they were insensitive about it at all. But it's like something that needed to be said because we do need to bring a greater awareness because there is so much in quote unquote celebrity that celebrates, the things. We definitely see it with alcohol. And I don't know how many celebrities have their own alcohol brand and all this stuff. So it's good that it's getting out there in that conversation and bringing someone like that speaks at a level of greater honesty and awareness around it all.
Yeah, I just think, look, and I know this is really saying something out there, but just recent events and what have happened, I think there is a revival going on in this country,
Mm.
um, and my hope is that this revival kicks over into the substance use side because it just because you're a believer doesn't mean you're not addicted to something.
Oh yeah.
Just because you think you're a good person doesn't mean you're not addicted to something, and I just hope that it again that it's just kind of goes over,
Yeah.
and we do a revival on the substance problem that we have here.
I hope so. I think, as much as we can put weight and data, but there's definitely been a downtick in the purchasing and consumption of alcohol. We're seeing that happen. And not that I'm wanting any businesses to go out of business, but there's many nightclubs now that are embracing alcohol-free nights, more mocktails because so many are closing because people don't want to go out and get drunk anymore and they don't want to be in and around those environments. So, that's a good sign. Like I'll take this problem because you know what we can do. We can refine as business people and citizens and decide we're going to have more positive social connections going on that can be alcohol and substance free.
Right.
I know people they love to go to raves and they don't use a single substance and they have
Right.
a great time.
Right.
So you
Right.
can still go and do it all. You don't need to alter your mind to sit and have a good time. And if you're thinking the only way I'm going to enjoy this is if I do alter my mind and consciousness through a substance, maybe it's a sign you don't need to go and do that, and
Well,
that's okay.
right. I mean, look, it's like me. I tell people I'm having more fun now than I've ever had.
Yeah,
I was at a function last weekend with a bunch of people, and I had a great time, absolute great time. I don't drink. I wasn't doing anything. I was drinking Pepsi, but talking and laughing and dancing and having a fantastic time. So no, you just don't have to get shit faced to have a great time.
yeah.
But there are still a lot of people who think that you do.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they haven't had enough experiences to prove otherwise, and
Right.
so it's about like going back to that exploration in the curious mind that you were when you were a kid. All right, let's just do the same thing, just substance
Right.
free. Like
Right.
I know when I had spoken with Charlie, he's like, I just hope to have the opportunity to get back to acting. It's what I love to do. Like you could still see this passion. It's like, okay, you had the biggest TV show in the world. You got paid the most money ever per episode. Been in some
Two
of the
million.
yeah, been in some of the most like monumental, like war movies. He worked with some of the biggest directors. All these things. Like, no, it's just like I love to do it, and it's like, where is that curiosity for us? That's the thing I encourage the most for people that enter recovery is like, What did you love to do as a kid? Because it worked for me. People that aren't watching, I'm pointing. There's a bunch of Legos. My first sponsor, we got it narrowed down. He's like, okay, Legos are affordable. You can do that. The other stuff, work up with your income level. And boy, I love doing it. And it's still even the thousands of dollars I spent on Legos way cheaper than my booze habit. I guarantee you. So but it's that fun exploration that we get to step into. And I just want to encourage people. And I got that out of that documentary of like, man, life isn't done. This is a guy that through his own actions, he's, has HIV, owns
Yep.
that, owns his addiction, takes responsibility for all of his actions and everything else. And so it's interesting to just see that, oh, wow, that curiosity is still there. We got to
It's
have that curious mind.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, we all got it, man. We all
Yeah.
got the curious mind.
Yeah. Just don't go for the simple stuff.
No, no, not at all.
Too
No.
boring. Too boring. Anything else you want to drop in with Mr. Anderson?
No, no. Weekend's coming up. Just hope everybody stays safe. Stay safe. Don't get drunk. Don't get loaded. Don't get high. You know,
Hmm.
enjoy life. That's the word for the day. Enjoy life.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Coming up here soon, I am going to be hosting the MC for a cancer charity golf tournament. So I have first time here with this. So trying some new stuff, and I'm
Nice.
interestingly enough playing with my best friend and my son and his company. And I said, "Boy, we're really going to ruin your score." He goes, "Oh, no, no, no. It's a foursome, and our partner is my son's golf coach. So not only are you going to get a golf lesson over the course of the 18 holes that you play and your son, but he goes, I kind of have the ringer, and my best friend, he's pretty close to being a scratch golfer. So we might come out as the two
You come
worst
out okay.
players
You're
with a
come out
trophy. So should be fun. I'm looking forward
good.
to it.
Good deal. Hope you win it.
Yeah, yeah. I'll shoot you a snapshot if we do, and I'll tell you how I accurately played. So you
Okay.
figure 18 holes, usually 7 to 10 shots per hole. So I'm gonna be pretty
Yeah.
exhausted, but
Yeah, you'll be tired, but you'll be fine. You'll be
yeah,
fine.
it'll be good. Anything else you want to drop in?
No, that's it, man. That's it.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to the Don't Hide the Scars podcast. If it's your first time, hit that follow button on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever platform you're on. And if you're checking us out on YouTube or have yet to check us out on YouTube, if you go to youtube.com/@paynnonprofit, hit that subscribe button there. Turn on the alert bell so you get notifications every time something new comes out here on the channel. And thank you for listening to Don't Hide the Scars.